Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Loves Park City Council looks to address plans for a new retail complex, the unique feature that would make up Riverside Commons.
An early morning blaze hurts several Rockford firefighters. Investigators are on the scene before sunrise to piece together a possible cause.
And around the nation, gas prices are on the decline. Experts say those numbers are only going to keep falling. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. In about an hour, Loves Park alderman will vote on plans for a new entertainment complex.
The structure would use shipping containers to build retail locations. Nicole Delgado spoke with a city official about the project. Nicole?
That's right, Eric and Mimi. A developer is thinking outside the box to create an entertainment district by repurposing old shipping containers to create what's called box markets. If approved, this would be the first one to go in between Costco and Sports Core 2, with restaurants, bars, stores. The city believes this will add extra value to the area.
Just the energy that it's going to bring to this area and the growth that we'll see. This really gives it a good kickstart, and then we'll see more from it. Place for people to come together, enjoy, food, music, entertainment, and this actually gives an opportunity to smaller businesses to test the market and grow, and that's what we're really hoping.
The box market will be put in place over the next 5 years. The hope is that this will be a destination spot for the Rockford and Loves Park area. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Nicole. We now know the name of a Freeport man murdered over the weekend. The victim's identified as DeCino Thurman. On Sunday, Freeport police were called to East Pleasant Street after reports of multiple gunshots fired. On the scene, they found 4 victims who sustained gunshot wounds. 2 19-year-old men and 1 23-year-old were taken to the hospital. Thurman died from his injuries. That was at a Rockford area hospital. Police say the shooting is gang-related. If you have any information on this case, contact Freeport Police or State Line Area Crime Stoppers.
Rockford Police released more information about the hours-long standoff we told you about yesterday. Officers arrested Aaron Watson early Monday morning. He's accused of domestic battery, criminal damage to property, and several weapons charges. The incident started just before midnight. Rockford officers were called to a home on 21st Avenue for a burglary in progress. Police were told Watson was in a home with 3 of its occupants. The people there knew him. Investigators say Watson had a rifle with him. When officers got there, the people who lived there left the home unharmed. Watson stayed inside, where police say he had access to other weapons. Negotiators talked with him until around 4 in the morning. That's when he left the home and officers took him into custody. Watson was taken to a local hospital. When he gets out, he'll be booked into the Winnebago County Jail.
We now know the name of the young boy who drowned in the state line over the weekend. Family identified him as Cristiano Daniel Morales from Belvedere. A GoFundMe has been set up to cover the cost for his funeral service. Over $2,200 has been raised so far. This happened just after 3 Saturday afternoon at Pearl Lake in South Beloit. Morales was with his family when he went missing under the water. A bystander dove and found the child. He was brought to shore and life-saving efforts were started. The 6-year-old was taken to a hospital where he died.
Investigators are trying to determine if an early morning Rockford storage facility fire was set on purpose. We've been following this story all day.
3 firefighters were hurt while fighting the flames. Eyewitness News reporter Drea Baroni gives us a glimpse of what's left behind.
This is just terrible.
This is what's left of Adrian Vasquez's belongings. Flames torching this storage facility off North Central Avenue in Rockford.
I just feel bad for the people that have been out here for years, and a lot of this stuff is their own livelihood.
Vasquez says he used to own the mini warehouse and containers. Now he's returning to see most of it reduced to rubble.
A lot of that stuff is not going to be salvageable.
Investigators say the flames started in 1 container before quickly spreading to 24 other units.
When I first pulled up, there was smoke blowing all over the place because of a strong wind out of the west. That kind of stuff is really going to affect the fire dramatically.
That fire taking hours to put out, with crews working into the morning to extinguish the flames and find its source.
There are some spaces that allow the fire to travel. That did play a factor in this fire.
A construction crew is joining the dozens of firefighters to clear the mess. While Vasquez lost some stored items from his salon, he says he's thinking of the new owner, as so many experience this unexpected loss.
That was Drea Baroni reporting. As I mentioned, 3 firefighters were hurt. 2 were treated at the hospital. 1 suffered burns, the other heat exhaustion. The 3rd firefighter was treated at the scene.
Part of one of the Forest City's busiest streets is closed for construction. Public Works crews are doing water service related work at East State between Gardner and Highland Avenues. Eastbound lanes are shut down. Westbound lanes will be open and shifted so traffic can flow in both directions. Work should be done by end of the day Thursday. A traffic control plan is in place. Public Works says if you have to drive through the work zone, slow down and be careful. Rockford's Water Division is also shutting down sections of Broadway for construction tomorrow. The road will be closed at 8th Street to all eastbound traffic. Drivers will be detoured onto 7th. Work's expected to last between 1 and 3 days.
Gas prices in the Forest City are on the decline. The average price of gas in Rockford's down by more than 3.5 cents per gallon to around $3.80. That's still more than the national average, which sits at $3.77. Experts at Gas Buddy say this is the lowest level the national average has fallen since Labor Day, and that with the switch back to winter gasoline less than 2 weeks away, prices could fall even more. Police in Pennsylvania search for an escaped convict.
Coming up, community members in a residential neighborhood are on high alert as police close in on the suspect.
Temperature is once again above that average of 79 degrees, but not quite as toasty as what it was yesterday, thanks to an abundance of cloud cover. And from that, we've got a few sprinkles working through, but a better chance for some thunderstorms roll in tonight. I have the timing of that and a look at how much rain could come down, all in the first warn forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Scott Lever, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
United Airlines issues a nationwide ground stop.
United says it ordered the stop because of a technological problem. The airline identified a fix for the issue. Flights resumed after about 40 minutes. No word on the specifics of the issue. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says in a statement the Department of Transportation will make sure United meets its obligations to affected passengers. Investigators think they might be closing in on an escaped prisoner on the run for nearly a week in Pennsylvania.
Authorities releasing new images of the convicted murderer who was caught on a trail camera overnight. Rena Roy has the latest.
Convicted murderer Danilo Cavalcante on the run for almost a week now. New images captured on a trail camera overnight show him walking through a botanical garden in Chester County, Pennsylvania.
Investigators quickly examined those photos, and we can confirm it is Cavalcante.
Police say Monday night the 34-year-old was spotted holding a backpack and duffel bag just south of the search perimeter established by authorities, not far from the prison where he escaped outside of Philadelphia.
Several steps were quickly taken, including shifting our perimeter in an attempt to contain him.
Some schools in the area canceled classes for the day out of an abundance of caution.
It's one of the last few days of summer, and there are children who, instead of celebrating with their families in swimming pools, are in a perimeter where there's police officers in their yard.
The suspect, who was serving a life sentence after being convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend in broad daylight, has been spotted several times since his escape. Officials also investigating a pair of burglaries in the area, which they suspect Cavalcante may have been responsible for.
You're dealing with someone who's desperate and who doesn't want to be caught. And so if he can find something, some clothing, if he can find some shelter, if he can find some food, he is going to take advantage of whatever he finds.
Authorities broadcasting a recording from a helicopter of Cavalcante's mother encouraging him in his native Portuguese to surrender peacefully. Authorities say Cavalcante is considered extremely dangerous, and they're urging anyone who may see him to call 911 instead of approaching him. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Well, the streak of hot days is coming to an end.
Up next, Candace has 2 big changes to cover, that temperature drop and our chances for a little rain.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, our winds have been a little on the breezy side this afternoon with a few gusts 25 to 38 miles per hour. We still hold on to that sustained southerly wind 10 to 20, and that is actually going to go up a bit here as we go through the night. So we've pulled in that moisture, which has kept our dew point temperatures in the upper 60s and a couple of spots in those low 70s. So we've had that muggy feel, but the cloud cover today has actually held our temperatures down below 90 degrees and kept that heat index in the low 90s. So not quite as toasty as what it was yesterday. And with the clouds, we have had a few isolated showers forming west of Rockford, and we've got a couple of sprinkles beginning to work in there across portions of northwest Illinois. All of this the result of an increasing low-level jet. So what is that low-level jet doing? Well, it's bringing in that moisture and bringing in that warm air. Think of it as the jet stream just in the lower levels of the atmosphere, and oftentimes that'll begin to pick up later in the day and really ramp up during the evening, and that's what helps keep thunderstorms going during the evening and overnight hours. So what we are going to experience here is a chance for those thunderstorms that are currently out to the west of us, tied into an area of low pressure and cold front, to work closer to us and maintain a little bit of strength as that low-level jet begins to ramp up. Now, any threat for thunderstorm activity over the next several hours going to be focused to the northwest of us, and that's where we do have a severe thunderstorm watch out for a portion of Minnesota and northwest Wisconsin. There have been a few severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing closer to where that area of low pressure sits, and that's the highest risk for severe weather as we go through the night tonight. Also focused a little further to our southwest across portions of Missouri, but you notice we've got that lower end risk. So if any thunderstorm maintains its strength and we see an uptick, wind would be a primary threat with that. So we're going to hold on to a couple of sprinkles here, a light shower as we work towards sunset. We'll watch though as we get closer to about 11, 12 o'clock tonight, then getting into midnight as that cold front begins to move closer to us. I think we see an uptick in some isolated thunderstorm activity again. Some gusty winds will be possible. That'll be moving out by tomorrow morning. So they'll help dry things out. We'll see a little sunshine, but then cloud cover rotates back in as our winds turn back around to the northwest. And what that does is it keeps a spotty shower, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm or two into the afternoon before things start to dry out. But we hold on to that cloud cover Wednesday night into Thursday. Thursday I also think is going to be a little more on the cloudier side, and this will help keep our temperatures down as we maintain that northwesterly wind. Now let's talk about rainfall, because we need the rain. Unfortunately, what we've got today, what we're going to see for tonight, it's just not going to do it. Notice these rainfall totals area wide for most of us under a quarter of an inch. That is also going to dry things out then as we head towards the middle to end of the week. Notice we hold on to those dry conditions. Dropping temperatures too, 73 on Thursday, 74 on Friday. Friday looks like a beautiful day with the sunshine, and weekend actually looks pretty stellar at that too. Comfortable overnight lows, but then we could see the chance for rain return again next Monday into Tuesday.
Sure looks a whole lot different than this past weekend.
Sure does.
Thanks, Candace.
Wisconsin next with sports. The Cubs are hoping for another strong pitching performance tonight against the Giants.
And we'll hear from one Chicago Bear who knows very well what the rivalry with the Packers is all about.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
It's another night and another opportunity for the Cubs to perhaps close the gap some more on the Brewers. They'll host the Giants again. The Cubs are currently 2.5 games behind the Brewers in the NL Central. Yesterday, of course, Justin Steele was the star. He stifled the Giants with 8 shutout innings pitched, striking out 12. And tonight, Kyle Hendricks will try to follow that up. Hendricks brings a 5-7 record into the game. The Giants' bats have been struggling lately, so it could be a good night for Hendricks. Well, the Bears-Packers rivalry will bookend this NFL season for both teams. They're going to start at Soldier Field on Sunday, and they'll finish up the regular season facing each other at Lambeau. Bears guard Cody Whitehair has been through 7 seasons worth of this rivalry.
Anytime you get to play Green Bay is obviously a big game for us. And to open the season, especially at home against a division opponent, let alone a rival, it's a pretty big game for us.
Well, thanks to the leg of Caleb Griffin, the Fighting Illini are off to a 1-0 start this season. His field goal near the end of the opener last Saturday night gave the Illini a 30-28 win over Toledo. The best part about that close shave is the Illini learned a lot from it.
There are enough things for us, on all three phases of the game that let us win the game, but a lot of things that we can go correct. I think, in my 30 years in coaching, 15 years as a head coach, the best environment for a Sunday or the day after a game is to have a game that you win, but do enough things that you need to correct so they have a great frame of mind. And I thought our guys really bought into that.
The Illini's next game will be Friday night at Kansas against the Jayhawks. Coco Gauff might be the next big thing in women's tennis in this country. Today, the 19-year-old advanced to the semifinals of the U.S. Open by defeating Jelena Ostapenko in straight sets. Gauff is the first American teenager to reach the semifinals since Serena Williams did it in 2001. At Sports, we'll be right back.
After a nice hot weekend, we're about to see a stretch of more comfortable weather.
Yeah, we get kind of into a cooler pattern as we look to the middle of the month. So a big dip in the jet stream coming, and that'll actually bring our temperatures kind of the opposite of what we've had the last couple of days. So if we could just find an even keel, I think that would be nice.
Yeah, right? It'll be nice instead of swinging back and forth all the time.
Yeah, it tends to happen though when you get through September. Once you get through October, November, you start to settle down just a little bit. For tonight though, it is still going to be on the muggy side. We've got a few sprinkles out there just to the west of Rockford. May see a couple of those out near Freeport, down towards Forston, and then maybe out towards Polo here this evening. Temperatures in the low 70s. A couple of thunderstorms are possible overnight. There are likely to be some heavy downpours, but the rainfall not going to amount really to much, under 1/4 inch. So we need it. Next couple of days looking pretty dry too. Maybe a spotty shower or two, isolated thunderstorm Wednesday afternoon. We keep the cloud cover around on Thursday, but you see the drop in temperatures. Next chance for any more significant rainfall not until next week.
All right, thanks Candace.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.